it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you a simple finger picking version of Everybody Hurts by R.E.M. Now, originally this song is done flat picking, so using a pick and picking through the strings like that. We're going to do a much simpler version where we use our fingers. We don't have to really think too much about what strings to pluck. We'll just be putting these three fingers here on the top three strings, and then our thumb changes depending on what chord we're playing. And the chord shapes are really basic except for in the bridge. So if you're just getting started, you'll be able to play most of this song. You just won't be able to do the bar chords in the bridge. And really quickly before we get started, I just released a finger picking course. So if you need more help with this, I have a complete premium course designed to help you with every single aspect of fingerstyle. And I also started up a Patreon page. So there's a full tab for this song with every single thing written out, the order of it all, and everything. So if you need help following along with the song, I recommend giving that a look. Either way, we're going to get started with the chord shapes needed to play the verse. It's really simple. We just have a D chord and a G chord. And I recommend using this particular voicing of G because we can pivot off of that finger. D to G. Makes it really, really simple, and it is the same one that they're using in the recording. And the whole verse is just those two chords back and forth. At the very end of the verse, we switch to G over F sharp, which from your G chord is quite easy. We just lift off these two fingers, and then we put our first finger right there, second fret of the thickest string. So that's really simple. Going from G to that chord, no brainer. So take a minute with those chord shapes, just strumming them with your thumb, counting to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, just to get comfortable, just to get warmed up on them. And once you feel good, we can add the finger picking pattern. We're going to start off on the D, and it's really simple. Like I said before, these three fingers go on the thinnest three strings. This is like standard finger picking position. If you stick by those rules, 99% of the time you'll be using the right finger on the right string. Anyways, we have our D chord, those three fingers, and our thumb goes right here on the D string, because that's the root of the D chord. Makes sense? The pattern starts off ascending. Thumb, index, middle. So that's the D string, the G string, and the B string. Thumb, index, middle. If you don't know index and middle, thumb, 1, 2. And the second half of the pattern is descending. We start off with our ring finger on the thinnest string and we just go. It's really easy, just ring, middle, index. And when you put that together, ascending, descending. Now something that's even more important than the pattern itself, in my opinion, is the counting. And this song is in 6/8 time. So we counted out 1 and 2 and So we have 6 things. 1 and 2 and And those things are eighth notes. That's why it's called 6/8. There's 6 of the eighth notes in every measure. We counted out 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and And if you feel like you could use a little improvement in the rhythm department, I want you to just take a minute right now, pause the tape, and count out loud as you do that pattern, going 1 and 2 and over and over again. If you just work on your rhythm little by little, the whole picture comes together a lot better. So, take a minute with that if you have trouble with your rhythm. And once you've done that, we can look at the picking on the G chord, which is super duper similar. So have our G chord here. Our fingers are still on the top 3 strings. Our thumb has to move to the thickest string, and that's it. Otherwise, it's the exact same thing. 1 and 2 and ascending, descending. So take a minute with that, and when you're ready, we can put this together nice and slow. We're going to do that pattern 2 times on D and then 2 times on G, back and forth, and that's the verse. 1 and 2 and So we still have to do a couple things to finish up the verse. The first one is at the very end of every verse, in order to transition into the chorus, they do this. So you know how we're doing the pattern 2 times on G? Well, the first time we just do it normally. And then we go like this. So just the ascending part of our pattern, we switch to G over F sharp and just the ascending part of our pattern one more time. So just that one bit, G, F sharp. Just try that a little bit, and then you can put that together with one measure of G before it. And we land on an E minor chord. So when you're practicing this, I recommend you do it exactly like I'm doing. G, 1 and 2 and strum. Just to get used to switching into that E minor and not just stopping here and then, later having to worry about that. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is more of like a nitpicking detail that I noticed. When they're switching from D to G, they actually switch before the last stroke. So see there, I lifted up my D chord early, and when I went to pluck this string, which should be that on the D chord, I actually get the open string because I switched early, and you'll hear that on the recording. So open, and then we're in our G chord. One more time just to show you. So I'm just leaving the chord like 1/8 note early, and that's it. So practice those 2 bits. We're going to incorporate them later when we play through the verse, chorus, and bridge, just to give you an opportunity to transition between all the different parts and basically play through the whole song. But before we do that, we'll take a look at the chorus, and we need 2 new chord shapes for this. E minor, and then A. So it's kind of just like the verse, except we're using 2 different chord shapes, but it's still the same concept. You play this chord, then you play that chord, and you go back and forth between the chords. So really simple. Let's just work our way through the finger picking. On E minor, it's the same as G. So top 3 strings, that's always the case. And our thumb is on the thickest string. And for the A chord, our thumb is on the A string. Still on the top 3 with those guys. And same deal. So if you're not familiar with the switch, give that a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and do that until it's nice and comfortable. Then we'll add the finger picking. 1 and 2 and So that was really straightforward, except at the very end there, you might have noticed that the last time I do the A chord, I just plucked the thumb, and then I touched the strings to mute them. And that's really simple to do. Just try it a couple times. 1 and 2 and 1. 1 and 2 and 1, mute. 3 and 1 and 2 and 1, mute. And there's something that we can add to the chorus if you're looking for a bit of a challenge here. It goes like this. So that's just a little walk down from A going into E minor. From our A chord, we use our pinky to play the 3rd fret of the thickest string. And then we can use any finger. It really doesn't matter. I use my middle or index to play the 2nd fret. And then we get into our E minor chord. So from our A chord, 3, 2, oh. And those 2 notes replace the last 2 plucks of our pattern. So 1 and 2, boom, boom, boom. So just try that out. You just ascend basically through all your fingers. Thumb, index, middle, ring, 3, 2, and back into that. The only part left is the bridge. And this contains a couple of bar chords, F sharp and B minor. And yeah, it's not exactly easy mode anymore now that we have some bar chords involved. But the good thing is these bar chords do use the same shape. And this is actually a good song for getting into bar chords because, you know, we're here on F sharp, which by the way, is derived from the E major chord. So we have our E major chord. We bring it up 1, 2, but we left behind the open strings. You know, those are still open. So we bring those up as well. 1, 2. And you combine that, bringing up the open strings with the E shape. That's all a bar chord is, right? So this is F sharp, and then we take that and we move it that way. So this one comes from A minor. We have the A minor shape with these 3 fingers. We go up 1, 2 times, and that's B minor. And you can just go between F sharp and B minor. And the majority of the bridge is just going back and forth between those 2 chords with a finger picking pattern. There's a couple other chords as well. There's C and A minor. So the bridge has like as many chords as the rest of the song. So you're definitely gonna have to put some work in if you're not used to bar chords or used to all these chord shapes. But to work on it, it's really simple. Just do the same thing we always do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And if it's too quick, you could always go like this. 1, 2, switch, switch. 1, 2, switch, switch. So it keeps you in time. Gives you time to switch without dropping the rhythm. So let's slowly go through the bridge, and then afterwards we're gonna do a big play along where we take care of everything. We're starting off on F sharp, and we're gonna put our thumb on the thickest string, fingers on the 3 thinnest strings like we always do. Same pattern. Then we switch to B minor, and our thumb now is on the A string. Do that a couple more times. One more of these. So 3 times total from F sharp to B minor. And then we're going to switch to C 2 times. And then G. Back to C once. And here it's a little bit different. Here we're going to go. So I have my C chord, I have my thumb on the A string, and then I moved my fingers. I put my index on D, my middle on G, and I went like this. So just ascending 3 notes, and then I'm going to change my shape to this. So it's just the 2nd fret of the A string. Make sure you curl it enough because we're going to go, and we need this string to be open. You don't want to accidentally mute it like that. So curl your finger enough. Let's just work on that, going. And then that goes into an A minor chord. And we stop it the same way that we do with the A chord during the chorus. It's the same deal except on an A minor. And when we go from the 2nd chorus into the bridge, we don't actually do that stop. We just keep picking. So going into the bridge would go like this. Just go straight into it. You know, there's no stop. Now let's practice putting it all together. It'll get you transitioning through every single part, and you'll be able to play along with the original recording if you can play along with this. And just a reminder, if you're having trouble following along, I've put this chart up on my Patreon so you can just see it exactly how I'm seeing it right now. Let's go. 1, 2, and through into the bridge. Verse, chorus, and that's it. So there you go. That's a simple fingerstyle arrangement for Everybody Hurts. And even if you're just getting started, you can do most of this tune. It's just that bridge with those pesky bar chords. But if you need any help with any of this stuff, I have a ton of resources. I have a course covering bar chords. It's called Barre Chords Made Easy, and it's all about, teaching you to develop the technique and balancing that against the power, because a lot of people think it's just squeezing as hard as you can, but it's really more about squeezing in the right places, and it's a lot easier than you think. I have a fingerpicking course, a complete beginner course if you need help with all the basics, strumming, rhythm, chords. So check those out if you want to help support good guitarists. And don't forget, I just started up a Patreon, so now I have charts available for my most popular recordings or my most popular tutorials. Anyways, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon. Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and I just ran my nose into the door. So let's get started.